I grip my water glass so hard my fingers turn white, but I refuse to let my mother see how deeply her words cut. Amanda, you'll never be as good as your sister. The chandelier light catches in the crystal, sending prisms across the white tablecloth as silence crashes down on our family dinner. Sierra's promotion celebration dinner, the reason we're all gathered around my parents' mahogany table on a Wednesday night. The dinner I rushed to after a 10-hour workday, barely having time to change from my rumpled blouse to a fresh one. Mom, Sierra starts, but stops when our mother raises her hand. It's just fact, dear. Your sister chose stability over ambition. Nothing wrong with that, but we need to acknowledge reality. My father clears his throat, studying his plate of half-eaten salmon. Your mother's right, Amanda. Sierra's on track to make vice president before 30. Different paths. I look at Sierra in her crisp crimson dress, her hair perfectly styled even after a full day at the office. Then at our mother, wearing the pearl necklace I bought her last Christmas, the one she claimed was nice but not really my style, before wearing it to every one of Sierra's events. Something snaps inside me. 2 years of swallowed words rise in my throat. I stand, open my purse, and pull out the mortgage statement I'd been carrying for 3 days, waiting for the right moment. There is no right moment for this. I've been paying your bills for 2 years, I say, placing the paper on the table, including this house. My mother's eyes widen briefly before she composes herself. She waves her hand dismissively, the gesture so familiar it makes my stomach clench. That's what family does. Sierra needs to focus on her career. My mind flashes back to Sierra's college graduation 6 years ago. My parents presented her with keys to a brand new red Mazda, complete with a giant white bow on the hood. Later that afternoon, they handed me a gift bag containing a coffee mug printed with my alma mater's logo. You're already established, Mom had explained when she caught my expression. Your sister needs our support. Then came that first call 2 years ago. Dad's voice uncharacteristically hesitant, explaining a temporary financial setback. Just one mortgage payment, they said. Just until things stabilized. I touched the corner of the mortgage statement now spread on the table. 2 years of payments isn't temporary help anymore. Family supports each other, Mom says, her voice hardening. Why are you being so selfish? I reach into my bag again and pull out the stack of receipts I've been collecting. Bank statements, transfer confirmations, canceled checks. 2 years of financial drain organized in a neat accordion file. I've supported plenty, I say, my voice steadier than my hands. But I'm not your ATM. My father's face reddens. Your sister's at a critical point in her career. And I'm at a critical point in my patience, I reply, surprising myself with the steel in my voice. Sierra looks between us, confusion creasing her forehead. What's happening right now? No one answers her. My mother stares at me with narrowed eyes. My father studies the ceiling as if the answer might be written there. I stand in my parents' dining room, suddenly aware of what I'm risking. These are my only family connections. The people who raised me. The sister I helped with homework and drove to dance recitals. Yet looking at their faces, I see for the first time how they measure my worth, not in love or memories or shared blood, but in dollars I can provide while staying conveniently in the background. I'll be taking a break from family dinners, I say, gathering my purse, and family payments. My mother's face hardens into something I barely recognize. You'll regret this, Amanda. Family is all we have in this world. I pause at the doorway, feeling a strange lightness. Then I guess I have nothing. A whole week passed after that dramatic dinner, and besides Sierra's rare messages, my parents did not contact me. However, on Thursday afternoon, my mother called me to help her organize her tax paperwork, since you're so good with numbers, a backhanded compliment that acknowledged my skill while dismissing my career. I never intended to find it, but as I sorted through the chaotic stack of documents on her desk, a familiar name caught my eye. Mine. I freeze. A student loan statement in my hand, not mine, but Sierra's plate. The words blur, then sharpen with horrifying clarity. A payment of $19,400 with a transfer confirmation bearing my account number. My fingers tremble as I flip through more pages. Car payments, credit card statements. My stomach twists into a knot so tight I can barely breathe. These weren't emergency payments. They weren't temporary help. This was systematic, planned, expected. I hear footsteps behind me and turn to see my mother in the doorway, her pearl necklace, my Christmas gift, gleaming against her crisp white blouse. Did you find the mortgage interest forms? She asks, then notices the papers in my hands. Something flickers across her face, not guilt, but annoyance at being discovered. What is this? What is this? My voice sounds distant, like it belongs to someone else. Dad appears behind her, his reading glasses perched on his forehead. Sierra stands in the hallway, thumbs tapping on her phone screen, barely glancing up. Amanda, don't make a scene, Mom says, stepping into the office. Dad follows, both of them towering over me as I sit in the leather desk chair. The ledger lies open between us like a confession. You used my money to pay Sierra's student loans. I tap the statement with my index finger. $19,400. Mom waves her hand dismissively. You were helping the family. Sierra's loans were the most pressing need. And her car payments? I hold up another statement. $3,600 last year alone. Transportation is essential for her position, Dad says, adjusting his glasses. She meets with clients. The credit cards? I fan out the statements. $9,200 in designer clothes and restaurants. Professional appearance matters in marketing, Mom replies without hesitation. I look past them to Sierra, who finally pockets her phone with a shrug. I didn't ask for any of this. Mom said you were happy to help. The room suddenly feels too small, the walls closing in. 2 years of thinking I was helping with a temporary hardship, when all along I was funding Sierra's lifestyle. Sierra needs freedom to build her career. Dad says, his tone suggesting I should understand this obvious fact. You're stable. Stable, like a workhorse, reliable, boring, the practical daughter whose purpose is to support the star. I push back from the desk, needing space. My own student loans are still not paid off. I've been putting every extra dollar toward yours. That's different, Mom says. Your career choice doesn't require the same presentation. The unspoken comparison hangs in the air. Software engineering versus marketing, back office versus front-facing. Invisible versus celebrated. Do you have any idea what this is doing to my financial future? I ask, my voice stronger now. If I keep supporting everyone, I'll never have anything for myself. Mom blinks, genuinely confused by my concern. Family supports family, Amanda. We've always taught you that. Sierra's wedding is coming up, she continues, a new gleam in her eye. Of course you'll help with that too. She deserves the perfect day. The casual assumption knocks the wind from me. I grab the ledger, flipping to the last page where I've tracked every payment. The total glares back at me, $61,000. $61,000. 2 years of mortgage payments, student loans, car payments, credit cards. $61,000 spent supporting my family while they treated me as the less successful daughter. I closed the ledger with trembling hands. All this time, I'd been enabling their favoritism by financing it. Later that afternoon, I show the ledger to Diane, my colleague and the closest thing I have to a friend these days. We sit in a cafe, coffee growing cold between us as she examines the pages. This isn't normal family support, Amanda, she says finally, closing the book and sliding it back to me. This is exploitation. The word hits me like a physical blow. Exploitation. Not help, not family duty. A deliberate taking advantage. As I drive home that night, ledger copies tucked in my bag, I wrestle with an impossible choice. Should I cut off financial support immediately and force my family to face reality? Or gradually reduce payments to give them time to adjust? The first option might shatter relationships beyond repair, but the second meant more months of financial strain for me. What would you do when the people who should love you unconditionally only value what you can give them? Next Wednesday morning, at work, my phone buzzes with the 5th call from my cousin this week. My family will hold a family emergency meeting, yet I intend not to go. I silence the phone and slide it face down on my desk, watching the screen light up again almost immediately. The Morris family reunion is apparently all anyone can talk about. Are you avoiding someone? Diane asks from her cubicle, eyebrow raised. My mother organized a family reunion without telling me, I say, rubbing my temples. Now she wants me to fund it. Diane's eyes widen. The nerve after everything else they've taken. I nod, opening my email to find 3 messages from aunts and uncles I haven't spoken to in months. Each contains subtle variations of the same request. The family needs help. And apparently, I'm the designated helper. Did you know about the reunion? I ask Diane. No, but your sister's engagement is all over social media, she says, turning her monitor toward me. Your mother tagged everyone except you. Sierra's beaming face fills the screen, a diamond ring prominently displayed on her left hand. The caption reads, "Planning the celebration of the century for my beautiful daughter. Blessed." My stomach tightens when I see the first comment. Amanda will help make it perfect. I've become the family ATM, and now they're making promises on my behalf. Later that evening, I curl up on my couch with a cup of tea, scrolling through Facebook. My thumb freezes over a photo posted 5 weeks ago, my parents and Sierra posing in front of the Las Vegas sign, cocktails raised in celebration. The timestamp shows it was taken during the weekend. I worked overtime to cover an emergency property tax payment for their house. They went to Vegas with my money while telling me they couldn't make ends meet. In the days that follow, sleep becomes a luxury I can no longer afford. Night after night, I lie awake, calculating numbers, how much I've given, how much they've asked for, how much I have left. The weight of financial worry presses against my chest until breathing becomes difficult. During meetings at work, I catch myself drifting away, thinking about the second notice on my own student loan payment, while Sierra's loans are paid in full with my money. You look exhausted. My boss commented one Thursday morning, after I missed a deadline for the first time in 3 years. I'm fine, I lie, but the dark circles under my eyes tell the truth. I start keeping a journal, every phone call, every request, every dollar transferred. The small leather-bound book becomes my constant companion. In its pages, I document the pattern of manipulation that has shaped our family dynamic for years. The casual mentions of Sierra's accomplishments, followed by requests for money, the guilt trips when I hesitate, the celebration dinners I pay for but am barely acknowledged at. The evidence builds page by page, an undeniable record of systematic exploitation. One Tuesday evening, as I am sorting out documents, Amanda? A familiar voice catches me off guard as I leave the office one evening. Uncle Frank stands by the elevator, his weathered face creased with concern. Uncle Frank, I say, surprised. What are you doing here? Looking for you, he says simply. You've missed the last 3 family gatherings, not like you. I look down, unsure how to explain. I always thought you were the backbone of this family. He continues, his voice gentle. Now I'm wondering if they've been taking advantage of that strength. His words hit with unexpected force, and I blink back sudden tears. The following Saturday, I find myself in my parents' kitchen. Sierra sits at the counter flipping through bridal magazines while my mother circles venue options in red pen. The country club deposit is due next week. My mother says without looking up. Sierra deserves the perfect celebration. You can cover the venue deposit next week. Not a question. A statement. Something in me snaps a clean, decisive break. I'm not paying another cent, I say, my voice steady. For anything. The room goes silent. Sierra's head jerks up from her magazine. My mother freezes, pen hovering over the page. Don't be ridiculous, she finally says, but uncertainty flickers across her face. I'm serious, I continue, finding strange power in the stillness of my voice. I've paid the mortgage, Sierra's loans, credit cards, car payments. I'm done. My mother's mouth opens and closes, fish-like, as she searches for the manipulative words that have always worked before. But for the first time, I see her tactics clearly. The guilt, the comparisons, the subtle insults wrapped in maternal concern. I've been financing my own mistreatment. You can't just, she begins. I can, I interrupt, and I am. The next day, Diane spreads spreadsheets across her dining table, calculator in hand. Without supporting them, she says, circling a number, you could pay off your student loans in 3 years instead of 15. The figure stares back at me, a future I hadn't dared to imagine. Uncle Frank calls that evening. I spoke with your mother, he says. She's not happy. I know. Good, he responds firmly. Sometimes family needs to learn hard lessons. I'm proud of you for setting boundaries. That night, I open my laptop and begin searching for job opportunities outside of Austin. Seattle catches my eye-tech jobs with higher salaries, a fresh start 3,000 miles from Texas. I allow myself to imagine a life built around my own needs and dreams instead of my family's demands. The next morning, I drive to the bank and request printouts of every transaction for the past 2 years. The clerk raises an eyebrow at the volume but complies. Hours later, I organize the stack of papers chronologically, highlighting each payment to my parents. Tucked among my father's financial documents, I discover a statement for an account I've never seen before. An account with a balance that contradicts every claim of hardship he's made. He's been hiding money while I've been draining my savings to support them. My phone rings just as I process this discovery. My mother's name flashes on the screen. "We're having an emergency family responsibility meeting tomorrow," she announces without greeting. "The mortgage payment didn't arrive." "I know," I say, feeling calmer than I have in years. "I told you I'm done paying." "This isn't a game, Amanda," she snaps. "Be here at 6. I hang up and look at the evidence spread across my table, proof of years of manipulation and exploitation. For the first time, I hold all the cards. "I'll be there," I whisper to myself. With receipts. On Tuesday evening after work, I arrive 15 minutes early for the family meeting, parking my Toyota 2 houses down from my parents' colonial-style home. The weight of the 3-inch black binder on my passenger seat represents 2 years of financial drainage, meticulously organized by category and date. Uncle Frank's advice echoes in my head when he called me this morning. Don't let them control the narrative. The familiar smell of lemon furniture polish hits me as I enter without knocking. In the dining room, my parents sit at opposite ends of the table like monarchs awaiting a subject. Sierra perches uncomfortably between them, scrolling through her phone. "You're early," Mom says, surprised briefly, crossing her face before she composes herself. I place the binder in the center of the table, the soft thud drawing everyone's attention. I wanted to make sure we had enough time. Dad shifts in his chair. Time for what exactly? I open the binder to the first tab labeled Mortgage. The pages inside contain highlighted bank statements, transfer confirmations, and a running total. Time to go through everything I've paid for over the past 2 years. My voice sounds different, controlled, businesslike. Let's start with the mortgage. 24 payments at $1,200 each. That's $28,800. Mom's eyebrows shoot up. That can't possibly be right. I flip to the next section. Student loans. Sierra's, not mine. $19,400. Dad's face pales as he glances toward the binder. His fingers drum against the polished mahogany. Car payments for Sierra's Mazda. $3,600. I turn another page. And finally, credit card bills, mostly for clothing, restaurants, and Sierra's work trips. $9,200. Sierra's phone slips from her hand, clattering against the table. That's more than I make in 3 months. The grand total, I say, turning to the summary page with the figure highlighted in yellow, is $61,000. Mom's lips press into a thin line. You're exaggerating. Half those payments were gifts. You offered to help. I have proof for every dollar. I pull out a manila folder containing copies of every check, every transfer receipt. The stack lands with a satisfying thickness beside the binder. Would you like to go through them one by one? This is ridiculous, Dad mutters, but his eyes avoid mine. Sierra reaches for the folder, paging through the evidence with trembling fingers. Her usual confidence evaporates as she stops at a credit card statement, showing charges for her interview suits. I had no idea, she whispers. Mom said you were happy to help, Sierra continues, looking up with confusion clouding her eyes. She said you wanted to contribute because you had extra money with your tech salary. Extra money? My laugh comes out harder than intended. I still have my own student loans to pay off. I've been putting off dental work because I couldn't afford it. There was never extra money. When Sierra asks me why I never told her how much I was contributing, I hesitate. Should I explain that our parents had sworn me to secrecy to protect her confidence, or was it better to let her discover their manipulation on her own? Before I can decide, the doorbell rings. Perfect timing. Mom rises, smoothing her cardigan. We're in the middle of something. That would be Uncle Frank, I say. I asked him to join us. Dad's head snaps up. Frank? Why would you? Uncle Frank's voice booms from the entryway as he lets himself in. Hello, everyone. Hope I'm not late. My mother's face tightens as her brother settles into a chair beside me. He nods toward the binder. I see Amanda's showing you the numbers. You knew about this? Mom asks, betrayal in her voice. I suspected, Uncle Frank says, his normally jovial tone serious. Family helps each other in emergencies, not as a permanent arrangement. What you've been doing to Amanda isn't right, Elaine. The silence that follows feels like a physical presence in the room. My mother stares at her brother, then at me, realizing that her carefully constructed narrative is crumbling. I am no longer isolated. Sierra breaks the quiet. Jenna asked me yesterday why Amanda never comes to family events anymore. She seemed concerned, like she knew something was wrong. Your friends don't understand our family dynamics, Mom says dismissively, but uncertainty creeps into her voice. The Hendersons called last week, Uncle Frank adds. They wanted to know if there was any truth to the rumor that you two were having money troubles while spending on luxury items. Dad's face reddens. That's none of their business. The dining room falls silent again until Sierra's phone pings with an incoming message. She glances at it, then looks up with widened eyes. It's from the mortgage company, she says, turning to our parents. They're sending a late notice. In that moment, watching my father's shoulders slump and my mother's mask slip, I realize the first cracks in their carefully maintained facade have appeared. The financial house of cards they've built is beginning to collapse, and for the first time, I'm not rushing to prop it up. 2 days later, I sit across from my parents at their kitchen table, where the light catches dust particles floating between us. The space feels different now, smaller, less intimidating. My father's smile looks strained as he slides a paper toward me. Amanda, we've been thinking. He clears his throat. We understand your concerns about the financial arrangements. My mother nods, her eyes darting to the stack of past due notices peeking from beneath a cookbook. Families should acknowledge each other's contributions. We haven't done that enough with you. The script sounds rehearsed. I watch their performance with new clarity, the way Dad's fingers drum nervously on the table, how Mom keeps glancing at the bills she's trying to hide. We have a compromise. Mom continues. If you resume the mortgage payments, we'll make sure everyone knows how much you help. Sierra too. Dad leans forward. Think about what you're risking, Amanda. Family relationships can't be repaired once they break. Is that what you want? Their words hang in the air between us, a final attempt to reclaim control. 2 months ago, I might have folded. 2 weeks ago, I might have negotiated. Today, I simply open my laptop. I've accepted a new position, I say, turning the screen toward them. Software architect at Meridian Tech in Seattle. I start next month. The color drains from my mother's face. Seattle? That's across the country. The salary is $135,000, I continue, pulling up a spreadsheet I've prepared. That's $33,000 more than I make now. Dad leans forward. That's wonderful, honey, but... And without supporting this household, I interrupt, highlighting a row on my budget. I'll save approximately $3,200 every month. My mother's lips press into a thin line. You can't just leave. I've been paying for the privilege of being disrespected, I say, my voice steady. That arrangement is over. Dad reaches for my hand, but I pull back. Amanda, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. For the first time in years. My phone buzzes with a text from Uncle Frank. Everyone's here, ready when you are. I need to go, I say, closing my laptop. Sierra's dinner starts in 30 minutes. My parents follow. The restaurant buzzes with conversation as I enter the private room. Uncle Frank reserved. Sierra sits at the head of the table in a cream-colored dress, surrounded by aunts, uncles, and cousins I haven't seen in months. My parents trail behind me, confusion evident on their faces. What is this about? My mother whispers harshly. I don't answer, making my way to Sierra. She looks up, her smile faltering when she sees my expression. Amanda? What's going on? I place a wrapped gift box in front of her. The silver paper catches the light from the chandelier above. I wanted to show you something. To all of you, I say loudly enough for everyone to hear. The room quiets. Open it. Sierra hesitates before carefully removing the wrapping paper. Inside lies a leather-bound portfolio containing every financial record, receipt, and bank statement from the past 2 years. Here's my gift to you, the truth about who's been supporting you. Sierra flips through the pages, her expression shifting from confusion to shock. It's all there, I say quietly. $61,000 over 2 years. Sierra looks up, her eyes filling with tears. She turns to our parents, who stand frozen near the doorway. How could you? My mother steps forward. Sierra, this isn't the place. No, Sierra snaps, holding up a page. We need to fix this at this moment. Uncle Frank stands. Your sister has been carrying this family while being treated like she's less successful than you. Aunt Patricia gasps. Martha, is this true? My mother's face reddens as murmurs spread through the room. My father stares at the floor. Sierra pushes back from the table and walks to me, still clutching the portfolio. Her voice drops to a whisper. I never knew you carried so much for me. A tear slides down her cheek. From now on, live for yourself. The room watches in stunned silence as Sierra confronts our parents, demanding answers I've sought for years. I feel something loosen in my chest, a knot of resentment and obligation beginning to unravel. Later that week, I hear through Uncle Frank that my parents are considering selling their house. Without my monthly contributions, they can't afford the mortgage. Part of me wonders if any relationship with them can be salvaged, or if I even want to try. I tape shut another moving box in my apartment, marking it kitchen with a black marker. Seattle awaits a new job, a new home, a new start. As I wrap glasses in newspaper, I find the photo album I'd tucked away years ago. Opening it reveals faded pictures of family vacations, holiday gatherings, birthday celebrations, smiling faces that look like strangers now. I close the album and place it in a box labeled Undecided. 6 months later, the morning light streams through my Seattle apartment windows, painting my small dining table in warm gold. I stare at the notification from my student loan app balance reduced by another $2,400 this month. No mortgage payments for my parents, no credit card bailouts for Sierra. Just my own financial freedom, one payment at a time. My laptop chimes with an incoming video call. Diane's familiar face fills the screen, her Atlanta kitchen visible behind her. Look at you. Seattle suits you, she says, sipping coffee from her oversized mug. You seem different. I straighten my shoulders. I closed 2 major projects this quarter. Team lead says I'm on track for promotion by December. And no one taking credit for your work this time, Diane notes. I laugh, a real laugh that starts in my belly and rises without restraint. It's strange not having to downplay my success to avoid making someone else feel bad. Quote, what about that hiking group you mentioned? We're planning a weekend trip to Mount Rainier next month. I hesitate, then add, and I've been seeing someone. Nothing serious yet, but you're allowing the possibility. Diane's smile widens. That's the real victory. Later that evening, I slip into a sage green dress for my company's gathering dinner. As I adjust my simple gold necklace, I notice my reflection shoulders back, chin lifted, eyes clear. The woman who left Austin 6 months ago would have hunched slightly, making herself smaller. The banquet room buzzes with conversation when I arrive. My department head waves me over to a table near the front. There she is, she announces to the group. Amanda's client satisfaction scores were the highest in the company this quarter. The Reynolds account specifically requested her for their next phase. A round of applause follows. My cheeks warm, but I don't deflect or diminish the praise. I simply say, thank you. I'm proud of the work we've done. When the woman beside me asks about family, the question doesn't twist my stomach into knots like it once would have. My parents and I are taking some space, I say, calmly, butter knife steady in my hand. My sister and I are finding our way to a more honest relationship. No shame colors my voice. No elaborate excuses fill the silence. Just truth, simply stated. Sometimes family is complicated, she responds. Yes, I agree. And sometimes it's exactly what it appears to be. The weekend brings Diane and Uncle Frank to Seattle. We gather in my small living room, takeout containers scattered across my coffee table. Uncle Frank raises his glass of Pinot Noir. To Amanda, he says, who taught me it's never too late to choose your real family. Diane chimes in, to building the family you choose, not just accepting the one you were born into. We clink glasses as I absorb their words, feeling the truth of them settle into my bones. The following Tuesday, an unexpected email appears in my inbox. Sierra's name in the sender field makes my finger hover over the delete button, but curiosity wins. I took over Mom and Dad's mortgage payments last month, she writes. They weren't happy about it. Dad actually suggested I ask you to help out until I get established. I told him I've been established for years, just never financially independent. That's changing now. The email continues, detailing her struggles with budgeting and financial responsibility. It's harder than I expected, she admits, but also more satisfying. I think I understand now what you've been trying to tell me. I read the final paragraphs twice. Mom and Dad want to visit you. I told them that's your decision, not mine. They don't quite understand why you won't, Let bygones be bygones. I'm starting to. I'd like to visit sometime if you're open to it, just me. My reply is short but genuine. Not ready for mom and dad yet, but I'd love to show you Seattle in the spring next year. As I close my laptop that evening, I wonder about the fine line between forgiveness and self-protection. Sierra seems genuinely changed by confronting our family's patterns, but our parents remain unchanged. What would you do? Attempt to rebuild relationships with those who've proven unwilling to change, or focus on nurturing connections with those who respect your boundaries? The first thing I notice walking through our front door is the smell of Captain Crunch. At 6 p.m, my stomach clenches as I drop my overnight bag in the cramped entryway of our suburban ranch house. Maddie? Max? I call out, my voice echoing through the too quiet space. In here, their synchronized voices drift from the kitchen, accompanied by the clink of spoons against ceramic. I shoulder past a tower of unfolded laundry on the dining room table, breathing through my mouth to avoid the musty scent. The twins sit at our scratched kitchen counter, both still in their school uniforms from St. Augustine's Elementary. Wrinkled worksheets spread between their cereal bowls, soggy bits of yellow squares floating in milk. Hey guys. I ruffle Max's perpetually messy hair, noting the dark circles under Maddie's eyes. Long day? Mom said she'd be home for dinner, Maddie mutters, not looking up from her math problems. Her pencil moves in tight, angry circles. The cafeteria had fish sticks, Max adds, wrinkling his nose. We couldn't eat them. I open the fridge, unsurprised to find mostly condiments and a half-empty carton of milk. The freezer yields only ice cube trays and forgotten pot peas. My chest tightens as I remember the grocery money Mom promised to send for my weekend home from community college. Let me grab something from upstairs, then we'll order pizza. The words taste like defeat in my mouth. I'd been saving that 20 for gas. The twins perk up, but I'm already heading toward Mom's room, my fingers brushing the house key in my pocket. The one she doesn't know I copied last summer, just in case. Just for moments like this. Mom's room smells like the vanilla perfume she's worn since I was 12, when Dad walked out and she started working double shifts at the hospital. Back when I first learned to make mac and cheese without help, to check homework, to become the responsible one. The safe sits in her closet, hidden behind a rack of scrubs. My hands shake as I input the combination birthday, because Mom said she'd never forget it that way. Inside, tucked behind insurance papers and Dad's old wedding ring, should be the envelope. $8,000 in crisp hundreds. Grandma's college fund for me. The money that was supposed to cover next semester's textbooks and my share of apartment rent near campus. My fingers touch cold metal, empty space, nothing. The room spins as I dial Mom's cell, each ring stretching into infinity. Honey? Her voice sounds lighter than it should. I'm at dinner with the girls from work. Everything okay? The safe. My voice cracks. Grandma's envelope. Where is it? Silence stretches between us, thick with unspoken accusations. The furnace broke last month, she finally says, the words clipped. Things happen, Samantha. You've never had to pay real bills. That was my college money. The words scrape my throat. Grandma left it for school. And I left you money for groceries, didn't I? A man's low laugh echoes in the background. Listen, I can't talk right now. We'll figure something out later. Mom. The line goes dead. I sink onto her bed, the springs creaking beneath me. On her nightstand, a bank statement peeks out from beneath a fashion magazine. My hand moves without conscious thought, pulling it free. Spa visits, concert tickets, a charge from Nordstrom that could have covered 2 months of my textbooks. My phone buzzes. A text from Max. Mom said we can't tell Sam about Vegas. The words blur as memories flash through my mind. Missing my National Honor Society ceremony because Maddie had strep throat. Turning down the National Science Foundation summer program because no one else could watch the twins. Mom's voice, syrupy sweet. You're the mature one, sweetie. I can trust you. Trust. What a joke. Downstairs, I hear Maddie helping Max with his multiplication tables, their voices carrying the same patient tone I used when teaching them years ago. They shouldn't have to be so grown up. Not like I was. I stare at the empty safe, at the bank statement clutched in my trembling hands, at the text glowing on my phone screen. The choice stretches before me like a chasm. Confront the woman who raised me, or walk away in silence. But silence, I realize, watching my knuckles whiten around the paper, isn't really a choice at all. Not anymore. I stand, smoothing Mom's comforter with mechanical precision. The same way I've smoothed over her absences, her broken promises, her convenient forgetfulness. My whole life, reduced to covering her tracks. Walking downstairs, I hear Max laugh at something Maddie said, the sound pure and bright and achingly young. I pause in the doorway, watching them bent over their homework, heads close together, still innocent enough to believe in promises. My phone feels heavy in my hand as I pull up the search bar. Legal guardian requirements, State of Ohio. One of us has to be the adult here. And it won't be her. An hour later that day, the bank statement flutters from my fingers to the carpet of Mom's bedroom, like confetti at a funeral. Behind me, the twins laugh at some cartoon downstairs, the sound piercing through the fog in my brain. I bend down, my hand trembling as I pick up the paper. The numbers blur before my eyes. $479 at Nordstrom, $289 at Blue Lagoon Spa, $750 at the Mirage Hotel, Las Vegas. My phone buzzes. Uncle Mark's name lights up the screen. Your mother called, he says without preamble. Said you were asking questions about money. The college fund is gone. The words scratch my throat. She said it was for the furnace. A heavy sigh crackles through the line. Sam, there's something you need to know. Your dad's been sending child support checks. Every month since he left. The room tilts sideways. I grab the edge of Mom's vanity, my knuckles white against the wood. How much? $800 per kid. Should have covered groceries, school supplies, clothes. The cereal bowls downstairs, the wrinkled uniforms, Max's shoes held together with duct tape. That's impossible. But even as I say it, memories flash through my mind. Mom's new designer purses. Weekend trips with the girls from work. The constant takeout when she bothered to come home at all. I kept quiet too long, Uncle Mark says. But after what happened with the trust fund, look, I have copies of the canceled checks. Every single one. The bedroom door creaks open. I whirl around to find Linda, Mom's best friend, frozen in the doorway with a laundry basket. Oh, Samantha, honey, I didn't know you were home. Her eyes dart to the bank statement in my hand. Your mother asked me to grab some things while she's out. With Derek? The name tastes bitter. Mom's new boyfriend, always hovering at the edges of our lives with his expensive watch and calculating smile. Linda shifts the basket, avoiding my eyes. Listen, about that loan she took from the college fund 6 months ago. I told her she needed to pay it back before you found out. Loan? The word echoes in my head. 6 months ago? Linda backs away, her face pale. I shouldn't have. Forget I said anything. But I'm already moving, yanking open Mom's desk drawer. Credit card statements spill out, some still sealed. My fingers tear through envelope after envelope, names of stores jumping out like accusations. Tiffany & Company, Saks Fifth Avenue. First-class tickets to Miami. My phone chimes with a text from Mrs. Patterson next door. Been meaning to tell you, that spare room over my garage is yours if you need it. No questions asked. Before I can respond, an email notification pops up from my college advisor. Emergency financial aid appointment available tomorrow at 9 a.m. Let's explore your options. The front door slams downstairs. Heavy footsteps on the stairs, accompanied by a voice I've grown to dread. Susan? Babe, you up here? Derek appears in the doorway, his usual smirk faltering when he sees me surrounded by the scattered evidence of years of theft. Well. His tone shifts to something oily. Going through Mommy's private papers? Pretty ungrateful after everything she sacrificed for you. I stand slowly, credit card statements clenched in my fist. Everything she sacrificed? Like the child support checks she never spent on us? Or my grandmother's college fund she's been draining for months? His face hardens. You're poisoning those kids against their mother. Making up stories because you can't handle not being the center of attention anymore. Get out. The words come out sharp as glass. Or what? He steps closer, using his height to loom over me. You'll run to Daddy? Oh wait, he didn't want you either. The sharp ring of my phone cuts through the tension. Emma's mom, her voice warm and firm. Honey, we have the guest room ready whenever you need it, no time limit. Derek sneers. Playing the victim to anyone who'll listen? I meet his gaze, my voice steady. No, I'm done playing anything. Downstairs, I hear the twins singing along to their show. Voices clear and innocent, They deserve so much better than cereal for dinner and broken promises. My laptop sits open on Mom's bed, the screen glowing with an emergency student loan application. But next to it lies Grandma's old jewelry box, the antique pieces inside worth enough for first month's rent and a security deposit. The choice crystallizes like ice in my chest. I pull up my bank's website, fingers flying over the keys as I open a new account. One Mom can't access, one that will hold the proceeds from Grandma's sapphire pendant and pearl earrings. Derek watches from the doorway, his smirk returning. She'll never sign your FAFSA if you do this. Kiss that fancy education goodbye. Maybe. I close the laptop with a snap. But the twins will have dinner tonight, real dinner. As I head downstairs, clutching Grandma's jewelry box, my phone lights up with one last message. A photo from Uncle Mark, Grandma's old Bible, and tucked inside its pages, a safety deposit box key I never knew existed. Sometimes inheritance isn't about money at all. It's about finally seeing the truth. A day later, Facebook glows blue in the dark of my dorm room. Mom's latest post fills my screen. Sometimes the people who hurt you most are the ones you gave everything to protect. Praying my daughter remembers her family values. 27 sympathetic comments. 12 heart reactions. 3 shares. My finger hovers over the keyboard, throat tight with unspoken truths. But before I can type, a knock at my door sends me scrambling to close the laptop. Package delivery. Derek's voice slides through the crack under my door like oil. My heart pounds against my ribs. Mom's boyfriend shouldn't know my dorm address. I grab my phone, already dialing campus security. Come on, Samantha. His knuckles rap again harder. Just trying to help fix this mess between you and your mother. The dispatcher answers. I whisper my location, backing away from the door. You're making Susan sick with worry. Wood creaks under his weight. Those kids need their big sister, Max cried at breakfast yesterday. The mention of my brother's name ignites something molten in my chest. The twins need stability. I call out, voice steadier than my hands. They need more than cereal for dinner and empty promises. Listen here. But footsteps in the hallway cut him off. My resident advisor's voice, then campus security. Derek's shoes squeak against linoleum as he retreats. My phone buzzes, a text from Mom. Your sister won't come to my birthday if you don't. Stop poisoning them against me. I sink onto my bed, springs creaking under the weight of choices I never wanted to make. The twins' school photos smile at me from my desk. Bright eyes, matching dimples, trust I can't betray. My academic advisor's voice echoes in my head from yesterday's meeting. Samantha, your research proposal on cellular regeneration is exceptional. Professor Williams specifically requested you as her assistant. The position would cover next semester's tuition. A step toward medical school, toward freedom. Another buzz. Mom again. Remember when you were little and promised to always take care of us? What happened to my responsible girl? The words blur as I remember a conversation with the campus counselor last week. She'd leaned forward, eyes gentle but firm. There's a term for what you experienced, parentification. It's a form of emotional abuse. I'd argued, defending Mom's choices. Single parent, hard life. But the counselor had simply opened a folder, showing me patterns I'd been too close to see. My grandmother's safety deposit box key feels cold against my palm. I found it yesterday, tucked into her Bible with a letter I've already memorized. My dearest Samantha, if you're reading this, you've finally seen what I've watched happening since you were 12. The way Susan uses your strength against you, your love as a weapon. I always knew you'd need protection from her good intentions. The second account is yours alone. She can't touch it. Use it wisely. Oh, my love. Grandma Rose. The annual Rivers family Easter gathering looms tomorrow. Mom's territory, her rules. But this time, I have my own playbook. Uncle Mark calls that evening. Your mother's telling everyone you're having a breakdown. His voice carries decades of resignation. Claims the stress of college made you paranoid. Are you believing her? The question comes out sharp enough to cut. Silence stretches between us. Then, not anymore. I've watched her do this for 20 years, running up Susan's credit cards, enabling her emergencies. I should have spoken up sooner. Better late than never. I open my laptop, pulling up the legal documents I've spent weeks preparing. I need a favor. The next afternoon, sunlight streams through stained glass as relatives fill my grandmother's old church. Mom holds court near the punch bowl, voice carrying. Such a shame when children turn against their mothers. I step through the door. Conversations stutter to silence. Samantha! Mom's arms open wide, performance perfect. My responsible girl, home at last. The old me would have folded into that embrace. Accepted the role of prodigal daughter. But that script burned with the empty envelope in her safe. Let's talk about responsibility. My voice cuts through the manufactured cheer. About 12-year-olds cooking dinner while their mothers at bars. About college funds disappearing into Nordstrom bags. About Vegas trips while the twins eat Captain Crunch for dinner. You're obviously upset, Mom's smile wobbles. We can discuss this privately. No. The word rings like a bell. No more private discussions. No more secrets. I pull out my phone, scrolling through screenshots. Would you like to explain these credit card statements to everyone, or should I? Derek steps forward, shoulders squaring. That's enough. Back off. Uncle Mark's hand lands on Derek's shoulder. The girl's talking. Mrs. Patterson, our neighbor of 15 years, moves to stand beside me. I've documented every night those children were left alone. Every time Samantha had to leave her college classes to handle an emergency you created. Mom's face drains of color. You can't. I filed for legal guardianship of the twins yesterday. My hands don't shake anymore. The hearing's next week. I have character witnesses, financial records, and school documentation. I'm their mother. And I'm their sister. The one who actually shows up. The room spins with whispers. Aunts exchange glances. Cousins step back. The facade of family loyalty cracks like thin ice. Later, in my car, Uncle Mark hands me a thick envelope. Bank statements. Tax records. Everything they'll need to see the pattern. My phone lights up. A message from Mom's friend Linda. Susan's talking about moving to Florida. Taking the twins. The steering wheel warms under my grip as I start the engine. One more card to play. I didn't expect it so soon. But I'm not 12 anymore. And this time, I'm ready. Professor Williams' business card sits in my wallet, next to the court summons and Grandma's letter. Tomorrow, I'll accept the research position, file the emergency custody papers. Finally choose my own future. The twins are staying with Mrs. Patterson tonight, safe, protected, loved. And for the first time in years, so am I. Later that day, Mrs. Patterson's kitchen smells like coffee and determination. Stacks of paper cover her Formica table, each pile a testament to my mother's failures. Bank statements. School absence records. Photos of the twins eating cereal for dinner while wearing wrinkled uniforms. Sugar? Mrs. Patterson asks, her weathered hands steadying a porcelain cup from her wedding set. No thanks. I sort another batch of credit card statements, my highlighter marking each suspicious charge. The judge needs to see the pattern. The doorbell chimes. Emma's mother, Barbara, walks in, carrying a thick manila envelope. Her silver hair catches the morning light as she settles into a chair beside me. The school counselor came through. Barbara slides a report across the table. Documentation of every time the twins showed up without lunch money or proper winter clothes. My throat tightens as I scan the pages. December 2024. Maddie wearing canvas sneakers in snow. February 2025. Max going 3 days without lunch. March. Both twins falling asleep in class after another night alone. The back door creaks open. Uncle Mark steps in from the garage, his maintenance uniform stained with grease. Your mother's at work today. He drops a visitor log on the pile. Though according to this, she's called in sick 12 times since January. While posting pictures from Atlantic City, I pull up Mom's social media on my phone. The timestamp matches her latest sick day. My phone buzzes. Derek's number. Listen here, you ungrateful little witch. His voice drips with false concern. Your mother's having panic attacks because of you. Drop this guardianship nonsense and we'll make it worth your while. Worth my while? The words taste like copper. Like when you convinced her to empty my college fund? $10,000. Paper rustles on his end. Cash. Tonight. Just sign these papers saying you're dropping the case. I hang up, hands shaking. Mrs. Patterson squeezes my shoulder. He's desperate, she says. They all are. The evidence spreads before us like a battle plan. Uncle Mark's documentation of Mom's mysterious overtime that never appeared on her pay stubs. Mrs. Patterson's daily log of when the twins arrived home to an empty house. The school nurse's reports of missed medications and unsigned permission slips. The hearing's tomorrow. Barbara checks her watch. We should review your testimony again. Actually, I pull out my notebook, the page is dense with preparation. I need to stop by the hospital first. At hospital 2 hours later, BMOM's supervisor meets me in the cafeteria, her face grave. I wish you'd come forward sooner, Samantha. We've been investigating missing medications for months. She said the extra shifts were for my college fund. The words scrape my throat. Extra shifts? The supervisor's eyes narrow. Susan hasn't worked overtime since last summer, but she's been logging hours. The final piece clicks into place. Back at Mrs. Patterson's, Emma helps me organize the last of the evidence. Her lawyer father marked each exhibit with color-coded tabs, building our case like a fortress. They're saying you have mental health issues, Emma's voice catches, that you're unstable. Let them. I stack the testimonials from my professors, my work supervisors, the twins' teachers. Each one describing my reliability, my maturity, my consistent care for my siblings. My phone lights up with a text from Maddie. Mom's crying in her room. Says we'll have to move in with Aunt Carol if you don't stop. Aunt Carol lives in a studio apartment in Cincinnati, I tell Emma. She's allergic to children. More manipulation. Emma sorts another pile. Did you see Derek deleted his Facebook? Right after that photo surfaced. I pull up the image. Derek at a casino, my mother hanging on his arm. The date stamp matches the day she claimed she was at a nursing conference. The twins' school principal called this morning. Her voice held steel. Those children have been late 26 times this semester. But whenever they're with you, they arrive early. My phone buzzes again. Mom. Please. Her voice breaks. You're tearing this family apart. I made some mistakes, but I'm still your mother. The old guilt rises, thick as smoke. But behind it, I hear Max's voice asking for dinner money. See Maddie's two small shoes. Feel the weight of years spent being the only adult in a house full of children. You're right. My voice stays steady. You are my mother, which is why you should have protected us. The line goes dead. Night falls. Mrs. Patterson makes soup while Barbara reviews my testimony one last time. Uncle Mark brings copies of Mom's bank records showing child support payments that never reached us. The judge ruled on a similar case last month. Barbara stirs her tea. Granted guardianship to a 22-year-old brother. The circumstances weren't half as compelling as yours. My phone lights up with an unknown number. Derek's lawyer, threatening defamation suits. I block it without responding. Get some sleep. Mrs. Patterson pulls me into a hug that smells like talcum powder and safety. Tomorrow's a big day. But as I lay in her guest room staring at the ceiling, another text arrives. This one from Mom's best friend Linda. I'm so sorry, honey. I should have said something years ago. If you need a witness about the Vegas trips. The final pieces of my mother's facade crumble like sand. Morning brings more texts. Hospital staff offering testimonials. Neighbors documenting the nights they heard the twins crying. Even Derek's ex-wife, sharing stories of similar financial schemes. My mother's carefully constructed world of lies collapses under the weight of truth. The courthouse looms ahead, its stone steps weathered by generations of justice seekers. Inside my bag, the evidence feels heavy as granite. Beside me, Mrs. Patterson straightens her Sunday dress. Barbara adjusts her pearls. Uncle Mark's work boots echo on marble. I think of the twins, safe at school, waiting to hear their fate. Of my drained college fund and empty promises. Of all the nights I tucked them in while Mom chased dreams that never included us. The bailiff appears at the heavy wooden doors. River's guardianship hearing. My army of supporters stands. We enter the courtroom like soldiers advancing on a battlefield, armed with nothing but truth. My mother sits on the other side, mascara already smudged. Derek's chair stays empty. The judge will render her decision in 24 hours. But knowing my mother, knowing the pattern of escalation that's defined my entire life, I brace myself. Her final, desperate move is coming. I just pray I'm strong enough to withstand it. The courthouse steps loom before me, granite and steel reaching toward a colorless February sky. My hand trembles as I straighten my thrift store blazer, purchased last week with the last of my work-study money. Behind me, Mrs. Patterson grips the twins' hands, her arthritis-gnarled fingers steady against their fidgeting. Sam! Mom's voice cuts through the morning chill. She hurries up the steps in 4-inch heels, Derek trailing behind her like a well-trained shadow. Baby, we need to talk. My stomach clenches at the familiar syrupy tone, the same voice that promised to attend my science fair, to pay for college, to come home for dinner. The hearing starts in 20 minutes. I keep walking, focus locked on the heavy wooden doors ahead. You're making a terrible mistake. She grabs my arm, manicured nails digging into my sleeve. Think about what this will do to our family. To the twins. I turn, finally meeting her mascara-rimmed eyes. Like Vegas did to our family? Or the spa weekends? Or the concert tickets? Her fingers tighten. You have no idea what it's like raising 3 kids alone. Exactly. The word drops between us like a stone. I don't know what it's like, because I was too busy doing it for you. Derek steps forward, all shark smile and expensive cologne. Listen, kiddo. Your mom and I have been talking. We can work something out. A monthly allowance, maybe? Help with tuition? The laugh that bubbles up tastes like acid. With whose money? Grandma's trust fund that you already emptied? Now that's not fair. Mom's voice rises, drawing stares from other courthouse visitors. I am still your mother. You're too young to understand. Miss Rivers? A woman in a charcoal suit appears at the top of the steps. Judge Harrison will see you now. I nod and head in. The courtroom smells like furniture polish and stale coffee. I slide into the wooden chair beside my attorney, Sarah Chen, spreading my documentation across the table. Bank statements, school records, photos of empty cupboards and unpaid bills. 2 years of evidence, meticulously gathered while pretending everything was fine. All rise. Judge Harrison peers over her reading glasses, gaze sharp despite her grandmotherly appearance. This is a petition for guardianship of minors Madison and Maxwell Rivers filed by their sister Samantha Rivers. Rather unusual circumstances. Your Honor, Mom's lawyer stands, sleek and practiced. My client has concerns about her daughter's age and stability. 19 is hardly. 18 is the legal requirement. Judge Harrison's tone could freeze water. Unless you're suggesting the law is incorrect? He falters. No, Your Honor. But surely you'll agree the situation is irregular. What I find irregular, Counselor, is a mother using her eldest child as an unpaid nanny while spending child support funds at the Bellagio. Mom's sharp inhale echoes through the chamber. The next hour blurs into a parade of witnesses. Mrs. Patterson describing midnight babysitting emergencies. The twins' teachers detailing years of missed conferences and unsigned permission slips. Uncle Mark's testimony about child support checks that never reached their intended recipients. And you have proof of these financial irregularities? Judge Harrison asks. Sarah slides forward a thick folder. Bank records showing systematic misuse of funds intended for the children's care. Additionally, we have documentation of Mrs. Rivers emptying a college trust fund established by the children's grandmother. That money was for emergencies. Mom surges to her feet. The furnace broke. The car needed repairs. The Nordstrom receipts suggest otherwise. Sarah's voice remains steady, as do the casino charges. You ungrateful little... Mom whirls toward me, mask finally cracking. After everything I've done for you, I gave up my life for you kids. No, my voice comes out stronger than I expect. You gave up our lives for yourself. The room falls silent. Judge Harrison removes her glasses, folding them deliberately. Mrs. Rivers, would you like to explain why your 19-year-old daughter has more documentation of your children's medical history than you do? Mom's mouth opens and closes. For once, she has no answer. I've seen enough. The judge shuffles her papers. This court finds clear evidence of parentification and financial exploitation. Guardianship is granted to Samantha Rivers, with Mrs. Brogue. Rivers permitted supervised visitation, pending completion of parenting classes and financial counseling. The gavel cracks like thunder. Mom crumples into her chair, shoulders shaking. Part of me wants to comfort her, the old part, the one trained since childhood to smooth over her messes. But the twins press against my sides, their small hands finding mine, and I remember why we're here. Sam? Maddie whispers. Does this mean we get to stay with you? Yeah, squirt, I squeeze her fingers. We're staying together. Mrs. Rivers. Judge Harrison's voice cuts through the murmurs. The court has also ordered a full audit of your finances. Officer Martinez will escort you to meet with the forensic accountant. Derek vanishes before the bailiff reaches our row. Outside, winter sunlight spills across the courthouse steps. The twins bounce ahead with Mrs. Patterson, chattering about pizza to celebrate. I pause at the top, watching Mom being led to a different exit. She glances back once, tears streaking her makeup. For a moment, I see past the designer clothes and careful facade to the woman who once sang me to sleep, who taught me to ride a bike, who slowly disappeared into her own desires until nothing remained but broken promises. I hope you find your way back, I whisper to her retreating form. But we can't wait anymore. Sierra touches my shoulder. Ready to go home? Home. Not the house full of cereal dinners and unpaid bills. Not the endless cycle of covering for Mom's absences. Something new. Something ours. Yeah. I straighten my shoulders, turning toward my siblings. Toward our future. Let's go home. My phone buzzes, a text from Derek demanding I fix this mess. Delete. Another from Mom's lawyer threatening appeals. Delete. The twins wave from Mrs. Patterson's car, faces bright with something I haven't seen in years. Hope. Victory tastes like pizza and possibility. But as I watch Maddie help Max with his seatbelt, performing the same protective dance I've done for years, reality settles in my chest. I've won the battle for guardianship. Now comes the real challenge, giving them the childhood I never had. I climb into the driver's seat, catching my reflection in the rearview mirror. Mom's voice echoes in my memory. You're the mature one, sweetie. I can trust you. For once, she was right. Just not in the way she meant. We will build our home again in the years to come. 2 years later, the sound of bacon sizzling pulls me from my textbook before my alarm can ring. For a moment, I blink at the unfamiliar piece of dawn breaking through our kitchen window. No emergency phone calls. No forgotten permission slips. Just Max at the stove, his tongue poking out in concentration as he flips another piece. You're up early, I say, marking my place in my organic chemistry notes. He grins, proudly displaying the gap where his front tooth used to be. Maddie, bet me I couldn't make breakfast without burning anything. And? Only scorched 2 pieces. He plates the bacon with the precision of a surgeon, but I buried them under the good ones. From down the hall, Maddie's voice rings out. I smell burning. Do not. Max shoots back, but he's laughing. I watch them orbit each other through their morning routine, no longer the scared children eating cereal for dinner. Maddie quizzes Max on his science vocabulary while braiding her hair. Max sharpens her colored pencils in exchange for help with his book report. They move through our sunlit apartment like well-practiced dancers, so different from the chaos of 2 years ago. My phone buzzes. Mom's number. The old panic doesn't come. I let it ring twice, centering myself in the present moment, in the life we've built. Hello? Samantha? Her voice sounds smaller these days. I know it's early, but I wondered if you'd gotten my email about Saturday. I did. I keep my tone neutral, professional, like speaking to one of my professors. 3 to 5 at the community center, supervised visit. Right. She pauses. I thought maybe we could get ice cream after? All 4 of us? 2 years ago, that suggestion would have sent me scrambling to accommodate her, to preserve the fantasy of family harmony. Now I think of the twins' therapy appointments. They're slowly rebuilding trust. Let's see how the regular visit goes first, I say, 1 step at a time. Of course. Another pause. You sound different. More. Grown up? The word carries no bitterness now, just truth. I was going to say peaceful. From the kitchen, I hear Maddie declaring, Mom called again last night. I told her I had a test to study for and couldn't talk. My chest swells with pride. 2 years ago, she would have dropped everything to answer. I need to go, I tell Mom. The twins have school. Sam? Her voice catches. I really am sorry. For everything. The money, the lying, making you be the parent when you were just a kid yourself. The words I've waited years to hear. They settle into my chest, not fixing the past, but offering a foundation for something new. I know, Mom. I know you are. After we hang up, I find Mrs. Patterson's latest care package on our doorstep. Fresh muffins, still warm, and a card for my upcoming graduation. She's written, to my honorary granddaughter, in her elegant script. The smell draws the twins like magnets. We sit at our small kitchen table, warming our hands on coffee and hot chocolate while sharing the muffins. My medical school acceptance letter hangs framed on the wall next to the twins' honor roll certificates and the photo of us with Emma's family at last Thanksgiving. Professor Williams wants to know if you're still speaking at the support group next week, Maddie says, carefully breaking her muffin into precise quarters. I nod. The circle of metal folding chairs, the faces of other older siblings thrust too early into parent roles. Every month I watch them find their voices, learn to set boundaries, discover who they are beyond their family's needs. Someone has to tell them it's okay to save themselves. Like you did, Max says quietly. Like we all did. The morning sun paints our walls gold, catching the silver chain of grandmother's locket around my neck. Inside, her photo watches over us, her final gift, not the money in the envelope, but the strength to break free. My phone buzzes again, a text from my mentee in the Young Guardians program. Another teenager discovering she doesn't have to carry her family's burdens alone. We should get going, I say, gathering empty plates. You have band practice, and I have that meeting with the state representatives about the inheritance protection bill. The twins pack their bags with practiced efficiency, but pause at the door. Maddie's hand finds mine, Max's fingers linking with his sister's, a chain of survivors, stronger together. Ready? I ask, though I already know the answer. They nod in unison, stepping into the morning light. Behind us, the apartment holds our rebuilt life. Homework spread across tables, family photos mixing biological and chosen relatives. The steady tick of a clock marking peaceful minutes instead of crisis countdowns. We walk toward the future, three shadows merging in the sunrise. Not the family we were born into, but the one we chose to become. The one we saved, one boundary, one truth, one day at a time. Some people say blood is thicker than water. But I've learned it's love that truly binds, not the obligatory kind, but the type you fight for, the kind you choose every single day. The love that lets you save yourself so you can finally, truly, save everyone else. And that makes all the difference.